Today in No Man's Sky I'm going to show you the most efficient way to complete the Pioneer Expedition. With only 1 week or so left, you're going to want to use every advantage available to get those unique rewards before they're gone forever. For a 40-second overview of what the Pioneer Expedition is, expeditions are a separate game mode like normal survival and so forth. You only have a certain amount of time to complete them before they are gone forever. Everyone starts off on the same planet, and the basic route the expedition follows has 5 more rendezvous points that are the same for all players joining in the fun. Expeditions have unique rewards that, while not giving an in-game advantage, are epic cosmetic items like a golden helmet, golden ship, fancy jetpack and a buildable golden flag. Expeditions are measured by milestones that you complete while playing, which give rewards. Milestones are sorted into groups of 8 called phases, which give their own more special rewards available on all saves belonging to that account. This guide will focus on the most efficient ways to complete each milestone and the most efficient order in which to complete them so that you can get your rewards before time runs out. When you start your expedition, it pays to check your network settings right away and disable the ability for other players to harm you. You may also wish to turn multiplayer off. It does cripple the immersion of the event itself a little, but it will hinder you more than it helps for the most part. You'll have a random ship, multi-tool and exosuit appearance. Your scanner will be broken and your ship's launch thrusters and pulse engine are also broken. The first step is to mine some plants and rocks right by you for carbon and dust. A few hundred of each will do for the moment, then fix your scanner with some of the dust. Scan around with your analysis visor for a copper deposit. Hopefully there will be one not too much of a detour from where your ship is. Head to it and grab a minimum of 400 copper. You may wish to run your terrain manipulator on a smaller size. As the smaller the area of effect, the more resources you will gain from the same amount of the deposit. It's just slower to gain overall. If you mine a single deposit on the largest setting, it likely won't give you 400 from the whole thing. The smallest setting may give up to 1.5k or more. Also move your cursor around a lot while mining. Pointing at the same location until it blasts through the deposit will mine way slower than moving it about a lot. This is all very specific and detailed right at the beginning, but this is just for a superpowered start. Once we leave the system, things will ease up more and more on the specific plan you should follow. With your copper in hand, head to the ship. Build a portable refiner. Refine your 400 copper into chromatic metal as well as some carbon to condensed for both a hermetic seal and antimatter, as well as some dust for pure ferrite for fixing your ship. Then fix all the parts and leave the planet. Be sure to claim the rewards from the first 2 milestones. The S-class upgrades from the first will be super useful, and I would advise using all exosuit inventory slots you gain from milestones on your cargo inventory, as they are the most expensive. For Interstellar, you will need to craft a hyperdrive which requires 125 chromatic metal and 5 microprocessors. The other 75 chromatic metal you refined should be mixed with condensed carbon to make antimatter, then mix that with freshly crafted antimatter housings to make warp cells. For the microprocessors, you won't have the blueprint to craft them, so I would advise scanning the player bases you see in this system. If any of these bases are industrial mining farms, it will usually say so in the name. You'll likely see copper, gold and silver farms, so go grab a bunch from the highest quality sounding farm and sell it in the station to buy your microprocessors. Some other options for this are green trays, which can often drop them, or other items to sell. You could also mine a bunch more copper or some gold to sell. If you have some extra cash, buy 20 or more ion batteries for recharging your hazard protection. Also head to the trade terminal in the back room on the upgrade vendor side of the space station and buy some pyrite. With a small stack of pyrite, you won't need to worry about mining tritium from asteroids when your pulse engine runs out of fuel throughout the expedition. It is now time to leave this system. You won't be able to reach the first rendezvous on your first jump, but you should go as far as you can in that direction. The first thing you should do in every new system is fly into the station. Check for hyperdrive upgrades from the ship upgrade vendor, interact with every tabletop interactive item you can for navigation data or a small amount of nanites, check the mission giver for Explorer Guild missions and take all you can, and if it's a Viking system, grab the nanites from the wall unit in the back room of both sides of the station. They give a good amount and it builds up fast. The rewards from Interstellar include 300 nanites. This at the beginning is best put toward S-Class hyperdrive upgrades until you have about 3 or more. With no reputation with the other races, you will not see Explorer missions at the level you can accept them from the mission giver. Instead, you'll see missions for the dominant race of that system. It appears you'll need to have a standard level of 2 with the dominant race to unlock the mission board, having 1 mission for the race, 1 for each of the 3 guilds, and a 5th that is a random high-level mission. You can raise your standing without even leaving the station. Talking to the aliens found on the station has a few options. If you have any race items like Gek relics, you can use these to increase your standing by giving them to the aliens. You can also learn words from them and then practice your language. Not only does learning the words help toward the 50 words learned for completing Linguaphile, which is a semi-passive milestone, but practicing those words with the aliens can give reputation. But be warned, you can also lose standing by using words that don't really fit the race. Korvax won't like mentions of the Atlas, Gek don't like you asking for help, and so forth. Experiment with it and try to remember what words work best for gaining reputation. Wall units in stations, shelters and more can also give reputation. Get it wherever you can at the beginning to unlock the Explorer missions. You are going to need to complete 25 of them for the milestone Famous Explorer, and getting them early on is going to really speed things up. Lastly, on missions, passive missions are just the best. Missions like killing sentinels, killing creatures, killing predators, scanning flora, fauna and minerals, even taking photographs should all be gathered, as you can complete all of the same type by doing the objectives of one. With your new system checklist in mind, warp to the next system en route to Rendezvous 1. Your second warp will trigger a space freighter battle. You have a choice to make here. If this expedition save is just a throwaway save that you're playing to get the rewards, then just save this freighter and accept it as yours. It will likely be C-Class, it will definitely not be an impressive looking one, but if it's a throwaway save that doesn't matter. If you plan to keep this save, then you will want to save it, and not accept it. Next freighter battle you have will be with a more impressive capital freighter that can have higher slots. You will want to also spend 300 nanites getting the economy scanner from the anomaly, so you are only warping to high economy systems for the 2% chance of getting an S-Class ship. If you warp to a system with a battle going on that has a freighter model you want, making sure the system's economy strength is at least a medium, shown as a 2-star in the map, you will want to land in the station without engaging. Get out of your ship to make a save, then head out and save the freighter. Land on the freighter and scan the inside to find out its class. If it isn't S-Class or the class you are after, reload and try again. Even in a high economy, this can take many hours with an average of 50 reloads to get the S-Class, but as your first freighter is free, it is worth it. Make your way to Rendezvous 1. Upon entering the system, do your normal checks, then focus on milestone Rendezvous 1 itself for a waypoint to where you have to travel to complete it. The waypoint will take you nearby but not directly to it. You can either land and use the target sweep scanner feature to narrow into the meeting point, or before landing, just fly around until you see an archive building super close, as that is a meeting point. Landing and exiting your ship will complete the milestone. The Rendezvous 1 planet is an extreme planet with storm crystals. This is a perfect opportunity to gather them. Make sure your ship's thrusters are charged and head out during storms to gather storm crystals for the Stormy Skies milestone. You will need to gather 50, which will be a few storms. Between these storms, call your ship to you and fly around in third person looking for buildings. Whenever you see a building throughout this expedition, you should land and interact with the waypoint. This will give you a few nanites, and navigation data, and tick one of the 60 waypoints you need to have visited for the incredibly grindy milestone, the Navigator. You can also use this time between storms to visit bases on the planet. There will be plenty, so look for ones that will obviously have resources you can sell, but also crops you can gather for the farmer milestone. You don't have to grow these yourself, so utilise bases people have made to help out. No milestone will reward the blueprints for the hazmat gauntlets, of which most crops require you to have to pick, so you may wish to spend a few nanites in the anomaly to get this blueprint, though the farmer can be completed whenever you want. And lastly, this planet's storms are heat storms, which means they will boost your jetpack tanks, making it possible to get the Rocketman milestone if you start your jetpacking from a sufficiently high space towards some water or something. If you wish to cheese this milestone, you can complete it in any space station by facing the wall under the walkway while being very close to it for the infinite jetpack and just holding the jetpack until it completes. The most badass way you can complete it is to summon your new freighter into the system while on a planet, and flying up to your frigate, making sure you have a solid supply of oxygen on you. Once you've landed, jump off the edge. You'll start falling toward the planet below you, and your life support will be running out very quickly. You must focus on keeping your life support charged. You'll get the Rocketman milestone quite quickly, long before you enter the planet's atmosphere. But when you do enter, you won't have to keep filling the life support and can enjoy the ride. With your 50 storm crystals, head to the space station and sell them in one go. This should be over 6 million units, so if you haven't already completed these from selling resources from other people's bases, you will complete both money bags and the jackpot. You now have a decent bit of cash, so head to all NPC fleets you see in space and buy the frigates. The cheaper the better. These are pretty much throwaways. Buy tritium and dihydrogen jelly from the space station. You may have to wait for some NPC ships to fly in that sell these items. Board your freighter and refine the jelly to the base resource. In your mission log you'll have a freighter mission. Focus it and follow what it says, building a control room and such until it gives you freighter fuel blueprints. Then make a bunch of fuel and send your frigates off on missions. You can approach this in two ways. You can set them up for success and hope they come back in one piece after the mission's full length, or you can try to cheese it so they get damaged and come home early. Either way counts as an expedition completed for the milestone, Mission Control, which requires 15 completed frigate expeditions. This is the longest milestone as far as time to complete goes. Even the cheese way is going to take a day or more. You'll want to keep an eye on these missions and send them back out as soon as you can. If they get damaged, call them back for a quick completion, and if required, just buy some more. You'll have plenty more opportunities for units from the other rendezvous planets that you'll pass through. Next you'll want to make your way to rendezvous 2, 3, 4 and 5, doing your usual station checks along the way. Just as a note, 4 and 5 are not archives, 4 is a plaque and 5 is a portal. Upon completing rendezvous 5, if you haven't already reached it, you will also complete Cluster Horde, as the 5 rendezvous milestones alone reward 5,000 nanites. It's now time to make a base as close as you can to the portal meeting point of Rendezvous 5. This can be as simple as the base computer and 14 walls. If you can't get it quite close enough, then plant a beacon as close as you can so that you can locate the portal easily. Head to the anomaly and talk to Polo, ask him for a black hole location. Entering the galaxy map will now give you a waypoint to the nearest black hole. Head to it. Make sure all of your ship's technology is in the technology inventory. If not, either accept damage on the main inventory tech or switch to a throwaway ship. If you've been keeping an eye out for a cheap A-class shuttle and found one for the good ship, this is the time to use it. Fly into the black hole to complete Event Horizon. You now have all 16 glyphs, so teleport back to your new base and use a portal to dial a random address. Just hit bird for the first glyph, then any random glyphs for the other 11. Statistically, this should take you to a system that has never been discovered, but will not tick the first contact milestone, as that requires you to warp to it, so warp to a system nearby. Build the cadmium drive in your ship, then summon the anomaly, and if you haven't already, buy the economy scanner blueprint, but also buy the emerald drive and indium drive blueprints. Build the economy scanner and head into the galaxy map. You'll now want to check systems around you for a system that has a dominant race, but for its economy it has data that is covered with a message saying it is unavailable. This is an abandoned system. If it is a green or blue star, put a waypoint on it, then warp to a red star nearby. Use the cadmium from this milestone to easily build the emerald drive, then warp to a green system. Use the emerald from this milestone to easily make the indium drive and warp to a blue system. Whichever colour the abandoned system was, make sure you head to that one when it's time for that colour, otherwise just do it after. Now continue warping to new systems, constantly checking the stations for Explorers Guild missions and accepting any passive ones until you have hit 35 undiscovered systems. You should have by now more than 25 Explorers Guild missions. It is generally good to keep track of this as you gain them. Also be sure that if there's a race you don't have enough standing with to unlock the Explorer missions from them, just avoid that race when warping. Before you leave this area of space, complete the nearest missions to you. Scan missions like Flora and Mineral require a specific location to be scanned, but scanning one flora in the specific location for a specific mission will still count as one scan for the other scan flora missions. So one of those that's closest to you. Checking the station as you enter as always. If you see creatures or sentinels, kill them on sight to complete other missions. When killing sentinels, taking them up to 3 levels of alert, then jumping in your ship and shooting the rest with a rocket, will really speed up the completion of the boundary failure milestone that requires you kill 50 sentinels. This is a grindy milestone, so having a kill on sight rule really helps to break it up and complete it over time. This will also reward you with an S-Class multi-tool. You will have at this point 3 anomaly detectors. Using these will give you a random rare space anomaly. Head to a nearby uncharted system and use them. Then, if you hadn't found 2 rare ones randomly so far, just pulse until you do to complete Space Oddity. If a rare event happens very quickly into pulsing, then just land on a planet, save and reload to get the same one quickly again. You now have an emergency broadcast receiver. This can be used to find a derelict freighter. I would suggest using the Rendezvous 5 portal to head to this system, as the derelict freighter here has 53 blue crates. Blue crates have around a 1% chance to drop an abyssal treasure. They also have 3% extra chance of dropping normal treasure items, which will count toward the collector. Use the emergency broadcast receiver in space and pulse to get the derelict, then board and complete it. This derelict also only has a few of the green jellyfish, so very little resistance and a whole lot of loot. Complete it fully. If the abyssal treasure doesn't drop, you can either buy more receivers from the station, also get your free weekly one from Helios, which is now unlocked, and run them until one drops, or you can buy the blueprints for the Nautilin and the Nautilin scanner and grab a hypnotic eye from your derelict's loot. Find an ocean world, build the Nautilin on it and install the scanner. Then scan for underwater ruins. Check the ruins and talk to the life form, keep searching for them and talking to the life form until it asks for a hypnotic eye, at which point it will give you an abyssal treasure. At this point in the expedition, it is just cleaning up of semi-passive and passive milestones. For Nest Robber, you can either take a mission from the Nexus for killing monstrosities and then steal the 30 whispering eggs through that, or find a low atmosphere world and steal the eggs on that planet's surface. If you haven't already, find a low atmosphere world as you travel doing other things. If you haven't yet scanned 20 new species of fauna, then look around for creatures. This is a good one to complete while completing the Explorer missions. Scan before or after you call them. Though be sure to leave a few so that you can use the Tempelis from Naturalist to adopt 4 creatures. You can just adopt and abandon until completed. Keeping an eye out for an A-Class shuttle is a great way to complete the good ship, as they are incredibly cheap. Looking out for knowledge stones as you travel until you have learned 50 words will get Linguaphile done nice and fast. Use a planetary chart you get from completing Uncharted to get waypoints directly to ruins to finish getting the 10 artifacts you need to complete the collector. Frigate expeditions often also reward artifacts, so you likely won't need many more at this point. By now you will have certainly passively completed the Pilgrim by walking 10,000 new. The Survivor, however, is not so passive naturally, as most will avoid extreme worlds if not required, so I would suggest that when you hunt for waypoints to complete the Navigator, extra knowledge stones for Linguaphile and the artifacts for the Collector, or whatever else that doesn't require a specific place, even killing sentinels, do it on extreme worlds, to tick up that distance. Rendezvous 1 is the perfect place to do it as it's extreme, and you will already have a heat protection module that was rewarded from the very first milestone. When hunting waypoints on extreme planet during storms, it is not efficient to use your eyes, so use all of those navigation data you've collected from stations and other waypoints to buy a mixture of inhabited outpost and secure site maps from a station cartographer. All but the archives and trading posts from these have waypoints at their sites, so they are a great way to get waypoints without messing about. Lastly is just to finish off the frigate expeditions. Just keep an eye on how long they have left and log in for that time to send more off again. These 15 should take between 1 and 3 days to complete. This can also be treated as a way to split up your game time through the expedition so you don't burn out like mad doing the entire thing in a single session. Be absolutely sure to claim your phased rewards. These are unique and available on all of your saves in this file once claimed, and if you don't claim them before the time runs out, you won't get them. I do hope this somewhat insane video has been of help to you. Be sure to subscribe for more guides, let's plays, live streams and news. Ring the bell to always be in the know. Support the channel by liking, commenting and sharing, and if you want to get more involved, we have Patreon, merch store and YouTube memberships. Check out the Discord if you need a hand or just want to talk gaming, and the website for more in-depth written guides and tools to help in your journey. Have a fantastic day, folks.